Somewhere in a basement office at FBI headquarters in Barnaby, there's a wall. Not just any wall, a wall plastered with photos of people who pulled off the impossible. Bank robbers who vanished into thin air. Hackers who've stolen millions while wearing pajamas. Murderers who've been playing the world's longest game of hide and seek. And the FBI, they're still looking. For over a century, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has been America's premier law enforcement agency. They've caught mob bosses, serial killers, and terrorists. Their most wanted list has brought down some of the world's most dangerous criminals. But here's the thing nobody likes to talk about. Some people on that list, they've been there for decades. Some might be sipping margaritas on a beach right now. Some might be dead. And some, well, some are probably laughing at the posters with their faces on it. Today, we're diving into the wild, bizarre, and sometimes hilarious world of criminals the FBI desperately wants to catch, but just can't seem to find. But before we meet these modern-day vanishing acts, smash that subscribe button, because if you enjoy stories about people who've outsmarted the feds, wait until you see what we've got coming next week. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Unlike the FBI, we'll make sure you never lose track of us. The original Most Wanted. Let's start with a bit of history. On March 14th, 1950, the FBI unveiled its 10 most wanted fugitives list. The idea came from a reporter who asked the FBI for a list of the toughest guys they were chasing. The Bureau figured, hey, why not get the public involved? The first person ever added to the list was Thomas James Holden, a bank robber and murderer. He was captured on June 23, 1951, in Oregon. Success. The FBI was riding high. Since then, over 530 fugitives have appeared on the list. Most get caught. But, and here's where it gets interesting, some of them have turned fugitive into a full-time career spanning decades. Let's meet them. The airplane hijacker who became a legend. November 24, 1971. Thanksgiving Eve. A man in his mid-40s, wearing a dark suit and sunglasses, boards Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 in Portland, Oregon. He buys his ticket under the name Dan Cooper, later misreported as D.B. Cooper by the media, and the name stuck. Mid-flight, Cooper hands a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. She thinks it's a phone number. Happens all the time, right? But when she actually reads it, her blood runs cold. I have a bomb. Cooper opens his briefcase to show what looks like sticks of dynamite and wires. His demands? $200,000 in cash for parachutes and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. Oh, and he was polite about it. Ordered bourbon and soda. Left the flight attendant a tip. The FBI scrambles. They prepare the money, all in $20 bills, and gather the parachutes. The plane lands in Seattle. Passengers are released, and Cooper gets his ransom. Then he orders the plane to take off again, headed for Mexico City. Somewhere over the wilderness of Washington State, at around 8 p.m., Cooper lowers the rear stairs of the Boeing 727, and then he jumps into the freezing November night in a business suit with $200,000 strapped to his body. He was never seen again. In 1980, a boy found $5,800 of the ransom money along the Columbia River. But Cooper himself vanished. Did he survive the jump? Did he die on impact? Is he living in a cabin somewhere, telling his grandkids about the time he punked the FBI? The case remains the only unsolved case of air piracy in American history. The FBI officially closed the case in 2016, but they never found him. D.B. Cooper didn't just escape. He became a folk hero. There are annual festivals celebrating him, dozens of books, movies, and enough conspiracy theories to fill a library. The FBI wants him. They just can't catch a ghost. The hacker who cost millions. Now let's fast forward to the digital age. On May 19th, 2017, the FBI added Alexei Belin to their most wanted cybercriminals list. This Russian hacker isn't your average basement-dwelling troublemaker. Belin is accused of hacking into 3 major U.S. e-commerce companies between 2012 and 2013, stealing personal information from hundreds of millions of user accounts. We're talking usernames, passwords, security questions, email addresses, everything you need for identity theft on an industrial scale. But Bellin didn't stop there. He allegedly sold this information on the black market and then hacked into webmail accounts to collect financial information, access passwords, and even read private communications. The estimated damage? Over $100 million. Here's the kicker. Bellin is believed to be in Russia. And Russia? Well, they're not exactly rushing to hand over their hackers to American authorities. In fact, there's evidence suggesting that Bellin may have worked with Russian intelligence services, which would make him basically untouchable. The FBI has a $100,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. But good luck collecting that bounty. Bellin is probably enjoying borscht in Moscow right now, laughing at his wanted poster. This is the new age of crime. Criminals who can steal millions without ever setting foot in the country they're robbing. And the FBI? They're essentially posting missing cat flyers on the internet, hoping someone, somewhere, will care enough to help. If you're enjoying these stories of criminal masterminds and FBI frustration, do me a favor, drop a like on this video right now. And comment below, which fugitive do you think will get caught next? Or better yet, which one do you think is already living their best life on some tropical island? Let's debate in the comments. The Boston mob boss who vanished. Let's talk about James Whitey Bulger. Wait, you might be thinking, didn't they catch him? Yes, but the story of how long it took is absolutely wild. Whitey Bulger was the head of the Winter Hill Gang in Boston during the 1970s and 80s. He was involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and at least 19 murders. But here's the twist. He was also an FBI informant. That's right. The FBI was paying him to rat out rival gangs while he was committing crimes himself. In December 1994, just before he was about to be indicted, Bulger got tipped off, allegedly by his FBI handler, and disappeared. For 16 years, one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives lived right under their noses. He moved to Louisiana, Wyoming, and eventually Santa Monica, California, where he lived as Charlie Gasco, a retiree who fed stray cats and complained about the noise in his apartment complex. The FBI ran ads during daytime TV shows, The View, Ellen, Jeopardy, figuring that older women might recognize him. And it worked. A tip came in, and on June 22, 2011, agents arrested the 81-year-old Bulger in his apartment. They found $822,000 in cash hidden in the walls and 30 firearms. Bulger was convicted in 2013 and sentenced to 2 life terms plus 5 years. He was murdered in prison in 2018. But think about this, 16 years. The FBI's most wanted list is supposed to be the cream of the crop, the criminals they want most urgently. And Bulger was living in a rent-controlled apartment in Santa Monica the whole time, feeding cats and watching game shows. If it weren't for a TV ad campaign targeting Boer housewives, he might still be out there. The ECO terror is still at large. Let's shift gears to some criminals with a cause. And I use that term loosely. On June 21, 2006, the FBI added Daniel Andreas San Diego to the most wanted terrorist list. He's the first domestic terrorist and the first animal rights activist to make the list. San Diego is accused of bombing 2 office buildings in California in 2003. The targets? A biotechnology company that conducted animal testing and a nutritional product company. The bombs were timed to avoid casualties. One even had a secondary device designed to target first responders, though thankfully no one was injured. San Diego is a vegan, straight-edge activist. He doesn't drink, smoke, or consume animal products. He has tattoos related to animal liberation, and he's been missing since October 2003. The FBI believes he may be in Costa Rica or a European country with strong animal rights movements. He's tech-savvy, ideologically motivated, and has a network of supporters who might be helping him stay hidden. The reward for his capture? $250,000. But here's the thing. San Diego represents a new type of fugitive. He's not running from the law because he got greedy or violent in the traditional sense. He's running because he believes he's morally right. And that makes him incredibly difficult to catch because he's not trying to live a flashy lifestyle that would draw attention. He could be working at a vegan cafe in Berlin right now, or camping in the Costa Rican rainforest. The FBI has no idea. And honestly, neither do we. The family annihilator who disappeared. This next one is particularly chilling. On November 29th, 2004, Robert William Fisher's house in Scottsdale, Arizona exploded. When firefighters arrived, they found the bodies of Fisher's wife Mary and their two children, Brittany, 12, and Bobby, 10. All three had been murdered before the house was set on fire. Mary's throat had been slashed, and the children had been shot in the head. Robert Fisher was gone. His SUV was found abandoned 10 days later in the Tonto National Forest with his dog inside. But Fisher himself vanished. Fisher was a surgical technician, an avid outdoorsman, and a man who, according to neighbors, seemed like a normal dad. But behind closed doors, his marriage was falling apart. Mary wanted a divorce. Fisher couldn't handle it. The FBI added him to the 10 most wanted list on June 29, 2002. He was on the list until 2021. That's 19 years, before the FBI removed him, saying new leadership and new resources demanded space on the list for other fugitives. But here's the thing. Removing someone from the list doesn't mean the investigation is over. It just means they've given up on finding him quickly. There have been hundreds of reported sightings over the years. Canada, Mexico, various U.S. states. But none panned out. The FBI believes Fisher had a 10-day head start and enough survival skills to live off the grid. Did he die in the wilderness? Did he start a new life somewhere? Is he watching documentaries about himself right now? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty haunts everyone involved. Why can't the FBI catch them? So why is this so hard? The FBI has massive resources, advanced technology, international partnerships, massive databases. How do people just disappear? Well, there are a few reasons. First, international borders. If you make it to a country that won't extradite you, like Russia for cybercriminals, you're essentially untouchable. The FBI can't just send agents into Moscow to grab someone. Second time, the longer someone stays missing, the colder the trail gets. Memories fade. Vitnessd. Technology changes. Someone who disappeared in the 1970s didn't have to worry about facial recognition software, but they also can't use modern banking or social media without risking exposure. Third, off-the-grid living. If you're willing to live without credit cards, cell phones, or any digital footprint, you can stay hidden for decades. Plenty of people do it legally. Survivalists, religious communities, hermits. Now imagine doing it while actively avoiding law enforcement. Fourth, help from others. Many fugitives have supporters, family members, ideological allies, or people who are paid to help. Eugene Palmer, wanted for killing his daughter-in-law in 2012, is believed to be hiding in Central or South America, possibly with help from extended family. And fifth, sheer luck. Sometimes people just get lucky. They don't make mistakes. They don't get recognized. They avoid traffic stops and nosy neighbors. The FBI is good, great even, but they're not omniscient. And some people are just better at running than the FBI is at chasing. The ones who almost got away. Of course, not every story ends in frustration for the FBI. Eric Robert Rudolph bombed the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, killing 2 people and injuring over 100. He evaded capture for 5 years, hiding in the mountains of North Carolina, living off wild foods and supplies he'd stockpiled. He was finally caught in 2003 when a rookie cop spotted him rummaging through a dumpster. Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind 9/11, evaded U.S. forces for nearly 10 years. He was finally killed in 2011 by Navy SEALs in Pakistan. And remember Whitey Bulger? 16 years on the run, caught because of a daytime TV ad. These cases prove that even the best fugitives eventually slip up. A moment of carelessness, a nosy neighbor, a change in luck. But until that moment comes, they're free. So what have we learned today? That even the FBI, with all its technology, resources, and determination, can't catch everyone. That some criminals are smart enough, lucky enough, or well hidden enough to disappear forever. And that the most wanted list isn't just a rogues gallery. It's a testament to human ingenuity, for better or worse. D.B. Cooper might be a legend in a casket somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. Robert Fisher might be living under a new name in Canada. Alexei Belin is almost certainly safe in Russia. And Daniel Andreas, San Diego, he could be anywhere. These are the criminals the FBI wants but can't catch. And as long as there are people willing to run and places to hide, this list will never truly be complete. If you made it this far, you're obviously into this stuff. So here's what I need you to do. Subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Share this with someone who loves true crime or unsolved mysteries. And check out our next video, where we're diving into con artists who fooled entire countries. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Until next time, stay curious. Stay safe. And if you're on the FBI's most wanted list, maybe turn yourself in. It's probably less stressful than living in hiding.